I think this goes back to this notion that our recovery so far has unfortunately been what they call a K-shaped recovery, where things are going very well with some people. Look at Wall Street and how Wall Street ended the year. But for so many people, there's that fear of losing their job if they have not yet lost their job, or if they're underemployed, about what might come next, as things indeed will likely get worse before they get better. So let's not ignore the other important lesson from last year, which was it isn't simply about how well a country does. It's also about how well the poorest do. You know, I usually end every year, as I did last year, with what I call my best and worst year in Asia list with a colleague of mine, Jose Colazo. It just came out last year, and really for last year, really the worst that happened was really to what we call the new COVID poor. Both the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank are seeing more poverty rates go up in Asia for really the first time in some 2 decades. So we need to address that inequality that was also a theme that really became so clear that emerged in the year 2020.
We need to address it, but what are the solutions that lie therein, Curtis? Because there are no easy answers here, especially with some of the developed nations grappling with their own economic troubles. The gap would only seem to widen, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But if you think about also some of the things that came up in actually the last presidential campaign, you know, should there be a guaranteed basic income? I know my own work with development at the Asian Development Bank and others at the World Bank have seen the importance of really cash payments to people. And so we're seeing that in terms of what countries are trying to do in terms of fiscal stimulus. But how do we get people through to that next step? You know, we talk about training of people, but the reality is that people are struggling right now. So let's not forget the importance right now of giving people really money. And that's hopefully what we're going to see early on in the Biden administration. I think that we'll have to come back and revisit what more needs to be done to get Americans through this. And I think countries all around the world are beginning to look also at what can be done to help their poorest, whether it's simply how we treat migrant workers, whether it's in a Singapore or a Malaysia or Thailand, or what we can do with those people that, you know, President Trump would have called them the forgotten men and women and children of this world. I think that's what more, not just companies, but government, civil society need to do also.